Hello and welcome to the Swedish Windows channel. Windows, the Swedish way. Today we're going to talk about Windows and primarily why Windows is the best operating system in real life. I'm not talking about benchmarks and spreadsheets here. I'm talking to use because the best operating system is Linux right out of the box. But you see, Windows and Microsoft have made huge bounds and leaps forward with Windows. I've been using Windows for a very long time. I will tell you more later on. But please subscribe, like, and press the bell notification. It helps the channel. And much more we're going to talk about right after this. Welcome back to Swedish Windows. Windows the Swedish way. As I spoke before, we're going to talk about why Windows in real life, everyday task is the best operating system. It doesn't mean it's necessarily the best operating system on paper or in benchmarks and so on and so forth. But Windows is a great operating system. If you compare to the early 95, 98, Millennium, Windows 2000 was really good. Even the XP until you get to Service Pack 4 or 5 or whatever it was, it become reasonable good, but really start to change fundamentally with Windows 7. Windows Vista, I don't really mention, and so forth, and with Windows 8 and Windows 10 and Windows 11. I've been doing computers before Windows, so on those time. But Windows 11 is really solid. I really pushed the limits of the computer. I have a lot of memory, 128 gig and so on and so forth, and it works solid. Really, really working. And if you use your head together with a little bit of logic, a good VPN and a good antivirus, and you don't click and download or install apps left and right, and you don't know where they come from or what it is, then Windows can be as stable as both macOS or Linux for everyday use. Now, because if you ask a Linux guy, of course Linux is the best. If you ask a Mac guy, of course macOS is the best. That's how it is. That's how we human beings are. So, Windows on everyday task is superb, I would say, both Apple and Linux. Let's start with Apple. Why? Because Apple has the same problem that Linux has. Software is limited. You have a lot more software on Mac than you have on Linux, but you're still way behind the Windows platform. And I'm not talking about some small apps. I'm talking really quality apps. I'm talking about Adobe, AutoCAD. I'm talking about different photo programs like Topaz Photo, Capture One, or Video, Filmora, or DaVinci. Actually, Resolve exists on all three platforms, but there are more quality apps. And everybody says, Linux has it. No, it hasn't. I will give you a few examples. In the medical industry, except for servers, when Linux exists, but for desktop, it's only Windows. The same from construction. Most construction are using AutoCAD in different forms, or industry, they're using Windows. Mac and Linux, gone. I'm talking about desktop here, not servers or something else. So that's a few points that there is a reason why Windows is as big as it is and as good as it is. Let's go and look. Here you see Microsoft homepage of Windows 10, Windows 11. This is one thing I'm really interested in and see how it's going to develop in the next couple of years. This could be a real hit or could be a big miss. We will see. And Windows here is on front edge, way before Apple or Linux, especially on desktop side. And really, Windows works. I can't say that blue death of screen. I've been updating Windows regularly. In one of my machines, I have updated it on laptop from Windows Vista, which was pre-installed on that laptop, into Windows 10. Never reboot it in no form of restarts and that kind of thing, but I never clean installed. I updated it from Windows Vista to Windows 10, and it was through Vista, Windows 7, Windows 8, 8.1, Windows 10. I tried to install Windows 11, but of course it couldn't because it doesn't have all the technical things that it needs. And it was never erased. It was from the beginning the same hard drive, the same. Okay, it was slow because it's more than 10-year-old computer, but it worked. So everybody who says that Windows is crap left and right doesn't really know what they're talking about. Everything depends on the hardware, the drivers, and the software you're using. If you're using crap hardware, crap drivers, and crap software, then you're going to break Linux and macOS as well. Don't worry about it, you will. So that's not a problem. But if you use good hardware from quality brands, using quality drivers, and you follow the logic, meaning don't click left and right and download left and right, don't know what it is, and you're using VPN, using a good antivirus, then in absolutely most cases, you will have a stable computer. So, why is Windows so good? Yeah, well, I'll just give you an example here. I'm not going to go in deep discussion here. Like I said, application is way advanced compared to Linux and macOS. Of course, popularity creates more application. That's simple. Linux is only 3-4%. Of course, we won't get as many quality apps compared to Windows or even Mac. It's about 20%. Of course, they're going to get, but Windows is way above 60%. So, of course, Windows will get most focused here. And the good thing with Windows is that it is very familiar. If you've been using Windows like I've done even before Windows on MS-DOS, until today, it's not a big change to adapt to the changes Microsoft did. Yeah, some changes were a big bomb, some was a hit, but most of it, I never had a problem. But okay, I'm a computer geek. I worked with computers for a very long time on all different levels. So I have maybe a home advantage here that it wasn't hard for me to adapt compared to my older parents. It was a little bit more, but in the end, was no problem. Cost. Linux users will always bring that Linux is free, that Windows is free. Well, I give you a secret here. I haven't paid for a single license since Windows 7. All my license is legally obtainable, but I always use the upgrades. And I kept my Windows 7 back in the Windows 7, Windows 8, 8.1, 10, and 11. was no problem. And I didn't pay a dime. And it didn't come pre-installed on my machine. I got one. Uh, I was in a lottery and I won retail Windows 7. And from that time, I haven't paid. I think Windows XP and Windows 2000 was the two. Yeah, and of course, 95 and 98, I paid. But not even XP now, because XP as well win. So even since Windows XP time, I haven't paid for Windows license. And I have many computers because I have a retail version. And since that time until today, I haven't paid a single dime. So telling me Windows isn't free, it's a lie. But I know when you buy a laptop, you get it, and in that cost is included Windows. Yeah. But I never buy a branded computer. I build my own computers from scratch, so I know each and every component in the computer, and I know it's going to work flawlessly. Because I rather pay a little bit more extra, and I get quality parts, and I got a good computer that's going to last me for many years. First as a primary computer, second as a server. And of course, lastly, Windows software. The software for Windows platform is the biggest. But let's talk about business side. Peer-to-peer net technology. Remote access works flawlessly. On Linux, it works, but you need to tinker a lot. On Mac, it works too, but sometimes you need to tinker a little bit. Cloud computing, Microsoft is way ahead there. Internet external security is good. Digital signature encryption is good. Tools free. All these tools exist in Windows. You don't need to worry about it. If you know a little bit, Windows works flawlessly. But now, let's see here. Everybody talks about, Windows is full of bloat and telemetry. Well, I got good news for you guys. Here, you have shut up 10. It just install, one-click install. Then when it comes, you just click the recommended settings, and all the scary telemetry that Linux user will tell you are gone. That's how simple it is. You download one app, install it, click recommend setting, nothing else, push done, and it's done. And you don't need to worry. It's way easier to do this to get removed with all the telemetry and tracking and everything than it is to tinker with Linux. I can guarantee you that. And then if you have a lot of bloatware, AppMaster. You install it, you just click the apps you don't want it. Even apps that officially can't be uninstalled can be, like Cortana, Edge, Xbox tools, and so on and so forth. All is gone. It works just absolutely flawless. So you don't need to worry about it. It's that easy. And you don't need to worry. So you don't need to worry about it. It just works. And if you use your head together with a little bit of common sense, Windows will work very good. I can myself testify to that. And my parents, who both use Linux and Windows. So it works. It just works. You don't need to worry about it. So, is Windows worth? Well, I would say this. If you put the common sense and you don't click on everything, you don't download everything left and right, you have a good antivirus, you have VPN, and so on and so forth, and you use your head, and you download quality apps. And the quality apps doesn't need to cost. There are many good free quality apps, which I will go through in the next video, in future videos. So please like, subscribe, and press the bell notification so you don't miss the options. And it won't cost you a dime to subscribe. And in the future, I will make videos about this kind of apps. Just small tools to keep your Windows fresh and in a good condition. And there are very good apps. For example, you have the Adobe Suite. You have the Office Suite, of course. But you have other good programs like Capture One, for example, Topaz Photos systems. You have a very good video editing program that is as easy as iMovie on Mac is on Windows, called Filmora. It's very, very great program. I'm using it myself. And of course, all my videos are non-sponsored. So you don't need to worry if I mention someone. I'm mentioning it because I've been using it without zero benefits from them. So they are very good apps. And why use Linux, for example? Well, you need to tinker with the command line, you need to tinker with config files, and so on and so forth. Yes, you have the benefit that you can customize the computer in literally every button level. But for me, I'm past that. Now I just want a workstation that really, really works 24/7. I don't need to worry. Yes, there are good options on Linux, like Debian 12.4 Bookworm is very, very good, and it's my absolute favorite, except for OpenSUSE. But the lack of software that makes me use Windows as my production machine. My hobby machine is only Debian or OpenSUSE. That depends on what mood I am in. So this is why I recommend you use Windows. And you don't need to have anxiety that some software works, or you need to relearn everything. There is no need for that. If you are happy with using Windows and the Windows really works good for you, I can tell you, you have the freedom with Windows. You can customize your own PC to details, and you have a very robust system as long as you choose quality parts. And you have the option of many, many software that you don't have on Mac or Linux. So if it really works for you, use Windows. If it doesn't, well, of course, switch. Remember, computers are only tools for you to use, nothing else. And use what works for you best. For me, in form of production machine, is Windows. Simply because I could use Debian, but some of the software and some of the hardware I use are not compatible with Linux. And that's why I use Windows. Apple I won't touch because it's Apple tax and Apple high price for poor performance per dollar if you want to make it. I'd rather build my own computers because I know I can expand and I'm not locked into a system. If graphic card breaks or something breaks on the motherboard, the entire computer gone. I can just swap it out in a couple of hours and I'm up and running again because I'm using a good backup system. So this is just short about why I use Windows. In the further videos, I will go through software I'll go more in detail about my computer and so on and so far, in different settings, different tools I'll go through. So hang on to the channel, click the like, subscribe, and bell notification so you don't miss any other episodes. And we'll see you in the future. Bye, guys.